Hey, welcome to the channel. It's Tuesday. It's about 10:30 in the morning, and the temperature is really, really nice out. Great day to get out and get walking around a little bit. And I'm up here on the south side of the moat, just south of Chiangmai Gate, and I thought we'd walk through Chiangmai Gate and cross and go down by the Smith residence and walk down around Haya area. It's always fun to walk through there and see what's going on. But I want to thank everybody that's coming to the channel and bought super thanks, bought coffee, left comments, subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to keep making videos, as many as I can, and provide some decent information to you. Today the bot is 36.4. It's going down a little bit. Last week I think it got up as far as 37 the last time I changed money, but it fluctuates back and forth, so it's hard to tell. But the difference is the amount of money you get when you transfer. But anyway, today I'm going to tell you a story that actually happened in the Philippines, and I read about it a while back, but I really didn't go into depth in reading it, and I did last night, and it's kind of a textbook case of what you shouldn't do. This guy did, and it ended up real bad for him. But we'll walk around and look around a little bit, and I'll tell you the story. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see where we're at. Traffic around the moat is really crazy right now. They're doing all this construction work, and it's really making it difficult to drive. Leck and I came up, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and it was really a challenge to drive around the moat and get around these barricades where they're doing the wires. Now, hopefully at some point in time they'll get that all straightened out, and it'll be a breeze driving around here again. There seems to be a lot of people up at the market too. But the story I'm going to tell you is about this guy. His name is Stephen Davis, and he's a British guy. And this happened, the story's probably over 20 years old, but it's still prevalent today. You still run into situations that, this is kind of just the textbook case of, what you don't want to fall into. And he was a guy, he's probably in his 20s when this all began. He was living in the UK, and he was working for a computer company. And the company decided that they were going to send him to China. And, as a young guy here, he's, that's kind of a good experience for him. So, plus the money was, really, really good. So he takes off and he goes to China, and he's working over there, and he gets a lot of time off when he's in China. And on his time off, he'd catch a flight to the Philippines with his buddies. And he wanted to learn how to fly, so he's taking flying lessons in the Philippines. And, at night they'd go out and party and hit the bars, and I guess sometimes go home with some of the girls there. Well, hello. He, and the story doesn't say how many times he actually met this girl before he did one of the dumbest things he could have done. But anyway, Steve meets this girl called Evelyn, and she's a very, very beautiful young Filipino girl. And he meets her in the bar. She's a bar girl. No question about it. She's there to meet a foreigner, and they say her goal was to meet a rich American, and get him to take care of her and her family. She had left her family when she was like 13 years old and moved to the city and began working in the bars at a very, very young age. So by this time, she's very well versed on what she needs to do as far as enticing a foreigner. She's had plenty of practice at it. Like I said, she's very, very attractive and just young, and you know, you could understand why she would be so desirable. Well, he's head over heels over her. Just, you know, just ooh and ah, and you know, kind of get the goo-goo eyes for her. And she knows the right things to say, the right things to do, the proper way to entice him. And like I said, I don't know how many times he actually took her out of the bar and how long he had actually known her until he decides that he's going to buy her out of the bar and he's going to marry her and take care of her. So, according to the article, and everything that I'm telling you is based on the articles that I'm reading, and I'll put them in the description of the video as well. Get across here before the green man stops walking, because they will run your butt over. But hello. Great, how you doing? According to the story, he pays the bar owner 500 pounds, the equivalent of 500 pounds. I'm sure he paid in pesos is the amount that they go by there. And but he pays 500 pounds to buy her out of the bar for good. There's some decent food there. So, and this is what's really amazing. He pays the 500 pounds, gets her out of the bar, and he's able to get her out of the Philippines and take her back to China with him. And hello, great. Enjoying your morning coffee.
Oh yeah.
This is a good place to go too. I've stopped here before. I think I met some subscribers here one time. Oh, there's Elvis up there. But anyway, he's able to get her to China, and he is. I mean, he's head over heels over this girl. I mean, absolutely has to be if he takes her back to China with him. How he was able to do that, I have no clue, no idea. Whether she had a fake passport or something, or maybe back in those days they weren't checking that much. That's a good possibility. But anyway, she's living with him over in China, and he has his mother and stepfather come over from the UK. And apparently they'd come over and visit him from time to time. And he introduces the mother to this girl and the stepfather, and decides that he's going to marry her. And I guess that was his whole plan. He, like I said, this guy was goo-goo eyes over her. You know, she was just his you know, I guess the love of his life or the girl of his dreams or whatever. But he was just infatuated with her. And you know, the mother liked her. The mother thought she was, you know, very charming and you know, very talkative and seemed to be very friendly. So they went ahead and got married. And it seems that, and this is the real clincher, when he decides he's going to marry her, they're renting bikes here, he finds out she's only 17 years old. Now that's, to me, is a shocker, how he got her out of the Philippines at the age of 17. You know, I don't know. And like I said, this is back in the early days of probably early 2000. You know, maybe they weren't as strict then. Now you could, I don't think you can do that. But he finds out that she's 17 years old. But again, that doesn't faze him. You know, the mother was a little bit shook about it, but you know, he's in love. This is his dreams, and she's his, you know, the girl of his dreams. So they live over in China for quite some time, and then he finally decides, hello, that he wants to go back to the Philippines with her. So he gets with some of his friends, and I'm gonna stop right here. This is the Smith residence. This is a really good hotel to stay at if you, actually it's a condo, but you can rent it by the days or whatever, or the week or whatever. I'm not sure what they charge, but I know a lot of people come here and stay here and very happy. And you're not far from everything. But anyway, so he gets together with some of his friends, and they start a business in the Philippines. And apparently they do very, very well. And it was one of his very good friends. Well, they have a company apartment where they're staying at, and they stay there for probably, it doesn't really give the time frames too much, but just based on the way you read the articles, you're thinking they probably stayed there for a couple years. And then he decides to rent her a villa a little bit closer to her parents. Her parents live on an island, and they're dirt poor. He's already paid for them to build a house, you know, out of concrete and all that. He's given her £1,000 a month to live on, or the equivalent of £1,000 a month, which is quite a lot of money. Well, after she moves back, what he's doing is she's living in the villa, and then he's traveling back and forth between their office apartments and the villa. He's coming back to the villa on the weekends. And she ends up having 2 kids over a period of time. And like I said, I don't know how long before she moved back. They had the villa that they had the kids. But anyway, she ended up with 2 kids, and the mother would come over from the UK and visit and stuff. And she was noticing that the woman was just not real attentive to him, you know, when he'd come. And then he had gone as far as hiring her a maid or a helper, which it turned out, I believe it was probably her sister, to help her take care of the kids. And she basically didn't have to do anything. All she had to do was just kind of be there for him, and the mother explained to him, but again, he was love-stricken, and he didn't think anything about it. He did not see anything coming. I think we'll make a left here. It's a beautiful day for out walking. I love walking around this area. You see so much, and it's kind of been left the way it should be left. But when the mother comes over, she kind of noticed that the wife isn't paying that much attention to Stephen anymore. And she's spending a lot of time on her phone, and just doesn't look right. But she mentions it to him, and he just kind of shrugs it off and doesn't think anything about it. And time goes by, she goes back to the UK, and during this time, his eyes start opening up a little bit. He starts suspecting something, but he doesn't really know what's going on. And he just doesn't know what to do. Well, it turns out that he had given her was giving her money every month on top of the 1,000 pounds that he was giving her every month. He was giving her money to send the kids to, or one of the kids to a daycare. And I guess it was a pretty hefty amount of money. Well, one of the times he figures out that she didn't send the kid to the daycare. She was spending the money, and he really kind of freaked him out. So what he does is he stops the money to her, and he stops giving her money and cuts her off. And then he goes back, and he's pretty much staying in the apartment with his buddy in the city that's, you know, where he's got his business. Hello. And he's doing that, and he's starting to party now too. It turns out later on that his mother hired an investigator and found out that he was at this apartment. They were throwing all kinds of parties and having girls there, and just kind of having a good old time. Now, as far as the kids were concerned, I believe the kids were still with her in the villa, and he was probably paying all the bills at the villa, but he just cut her spending money down to zil. Well, him and his friend that are living in this apartment go home one night, and they're in bed, and the friend wakes up, and there's 3 men in the room, 3 strange men, and one of them grabs him and says, "Is this him? Is this him?" And the guy says, No, that's not him. And so they break into the other room, and hello, find Stephen in bed, and they shoot him twice and leave. And his friend goes in, runs in the room, and he finds Stephen in there shot, and he's dead. And they call the police, and the police come out and investigate it, and they're pretty much under the assumption that it was a hit. But it was at the time they were having a lot of union problems, and they at first thought that it had something to do with the business, and they kind of shrugged it off as that. They determined there was no forced entry into the apartment. Apparently whoever it was had a key, which is the first giveaway. Well, she finds out about it. His wife, she's all hysterical. I think, whoa, I'm gonna get hit. That's my own stupid fault there. But we'll walk down this way. Too busy talking and not watching. Hello. But the mother, she flies over from the UK, and kind of takes care of things, and they have a funeral for him, and she has her suspicions, and she tries to talk to the police, and the police are really not they're not really listening to her, and she just has a suspicion that something's just not right. Well, she hires a private investigator. And the first thing, and she hires the private investigator to find out what her son was doing, because everybody was saying that it was a hit pertaining to the business. Well, the private investigator, he uncovers that they're partying and they're having a good time and stuff in the apartment, but nothing that would constitute anything that would, be any kind of a plot for murder or anything. This is a really neat place too. They've got all kinds of antique stuff here. Statue of Liberty. But so then he changes his focus and he starts doing a surveillance on her, on the wife, or his name, her, Evelyn, and starts watching her. And he starts noticing that she's meeting with two Thai men quite frequently. And one of them was a security guard. Well, I think they were both security guards. And they were, I guess pretty friendly. Well, he goes to the mother and tells the mother about it, and she takes the information to the local police. And it says, I say local police, that actually the case had been turned over to the police in Manila because he was a foreigner. But she took the pictures to them, and she was actually paying for some of the stuff to get done. Well, the private investigator tells her that, there's still, they've identified two people. There's still a third person on the loose because there were three in the room. And it might be best for her to get out. Well, she makes a deal with the ex, or the wife, Evelyn, to see the kids. And what her plan was is she was going to take the kids back to the UK. And I think we will turn right here. Now we'll keep going straight. Walk my way out of here. But the day that she meets the kids, there's only one kid there. And she is able to get the kid and somehow get out of the country. I don't know exactly how she did it, but she was able to get one out of the country. And the other kid was at the other grandparents' house on the island, the boy. Well, she finally gets the police involved to look at the pictures of the two guys that went to the house. And the police take the pictures to the friend that, was the other guy in the apartment when he was killed. And he says, yeah, those are definitely the two guys that came in that night and robbed him. Or didn't rob. There was no robbery. It was just a killing is all it was. We'll walk through here. And that was the thing that kind of shocked everybody. There was absolutely no robbery, and it kind of gave it away. Number one, the fact that there was no forced entry into the room and nothing was taken. They didn't take any money. They didn't take anything, and they were targeting Stephen, without a doubt, from what they said. So they end up snatching these guys up, and they arrest them. They charge them with the homicide, and things are going along. And the mother was still in touch with the family back in the Philippines. And I'm going to stop this right here. And one of the aunts of this girl called her, or talked to her online or whatever, and she said that she had some information. And she was the mother of the sister who they had hired to help Evelyn take care of the kids. So the information was that the sister's husband had participated in all this. And he had gone with the two guys, and he had also gone with Evelyn, the wife. And they had gone to the room, and she had supplied the keys to the room. Somehow she had a key to it. And she waited in the car and acted as the lookout while those three went in and committed the murder. Well, they charged her, and it went on for a couple of years. And she was convicted. She was convicted of murder. And I think at first she was convicted of parricide, which is basically what that is that's when you kill a member of your family. I think we might walk right here, because I know this goes right down to we'll go straight. There's a lot of things to see here. Maybe y'all haven't seen this before. Oh, that's some good dessert. I love those things. Swadee Kap. Kanam Krok is what they call them. They're really, really good. Best ones I've ever had have been in Krabi. There was a lady there that made them. But anyway, she gets convicted. The mother, she flies over for the verdict, and she kind of, she's happy that the girl got 40 years. And she talks to the girl, and she's denying it. She's still denying it. And by this time, the mother has already got the other child. It was staying with the grandparents on the island. The grandparents on the island basically figured that the kid was better off with his parents in the UK and would have a better future. So they pretty much let the oh wow, it seems I'm having some kind of battery trouble here. But anyway, she gets the kids, and the kids are in the UK now, and the mother is serving a 40-year sentence. Now, she appealed her sentence, and I think in about 2006 she appealed it. But it got upheld. The only thing that they did was, and this is kind of funny, they dropped the parricide charge because they determined that at 17, they were not legally married, because she was 17 years old when they got married, which stands to reason. But the moral of the thing is, this guy made some really, really bad mistakes. Number one, he got infatuated with a bar girl, and it caused him to make some really, really bad decisions that ended up costing him his life. It's sad to say, but that's pretty much what happened. This is a really neat corner down here. We'll walk down a little ways. Now, I have had khao soi there, and that's supposed to be famous because Better Feed Phil, the Netflix series, had khao soi here. It was good, but it wasn't what I would consider the best. Just a neat little area. But that's the story, and like I said, this guy was a victim of his own actions. He thought he was gonna marry a bar girl and take her out of the jungle and live happily ever after, and it ended up backfiring him. And it turns out that one of the guys that she hired was her lover. And she was giving him money. I think she had bought him a motorcycle and all kinds of good stuff. And that's why she was running out of money. And that's one of the reasons why she didn't put the kids in the school that he had paid for, because she was financing his activities and his drinking and all that. Well, naturally, when the money stopped, she thought, well, I'll just kill him and I'll get everything that he has. And that was her plan. But it backfired bad. Very bad. Oh, there's the bathrooms back there. If you ever get down here and need to go to the bathroom, I'm gonna make a left here, I think. Try to make it back to the car. I have no clue how far I've walked so far. Nah, this may not be the best one to take. I think I'll take another one up the road a little ways. But, you know, the best thing for him to do was enjoy his time and go back to China empty-handed by himself. But, you know, these girls know how to throw on the charm. And that's exactly what she did. And she, you know, they say her goal was, when she left at 13, was to meet somebody that would buy her out of the bar and, you know, take care of her for the rest of her life, her and her family. And that's exactly what she found. And when the well dried up, she didn't know what else to do but to kill him. It's kind of hot and this camera's getting crazy, so I'm going to end the video now. But I'll leave, you know, links in the description. You can read the story, and there's actually a video that the mother had made. It says that she spent over $55,000 getting this investigated and, you know, getting the kids back to her in the UK. And I would venture to say that she probably spent every bit of that. But, yeah, it's just a pity. Shouldn't have happened. But anyway, y'all have a good day. I'm out of here. I'm going to head back to the car and go get something to eat and then head for home. Y'all have a great day. I appreciate you stopping in and watching. Bye-bye.